The immigration debate is continuing to rage on. We have a new CNN report on the anti-immigration protesters at the border. So take a look at what they're up to now.
Just hours after the first wave of undocumented immigrants has been sent back to Central America from New Mexico, Americans on both sides of the immigration debate are out in force. Right now, a group of protesters are near a boys' ranch near Phoenix, where at least 40 migrants will be brought this morning. Anti-immigration protesters, as you can see, they're planning to block the buses to keep the kids out.
I'm protesting the invasion of the United States by people from foreign countries. This is about the sovereignty of our nation.
And you're an Oracle resident?
Yes.
Okay, and what about the kids that are on the bus? Are you do you think you're going to be frightening them at all?
I don't think so. After they've been all the way up through Mexico, I don't think anything's going to frighten them.
They're trying to turn around a bus that has 40 kids on it. That's it. It's all kids, and it's just 40 of them. And all these kids are doing, they were invited to stay at what's called a boys' ranch. I don't have any extra details on that place. It does seem kind of sketchy to begin with. Any time that there's places that are like really willing to, invite kids, there should always be somebody there to look out after the kids. Because you gotta be careful with stuff like that, man. I mean, I don't want these kids getting in any way, shape, or form hurt or harassed or molested. And we all know there's unfortunately way too much of that goes on nowadays, especially when it involves the church. But that's another conversation for another day. But what they're doing is they're saying, no, we don't want the 40 kids to even have a place to spend the night. Isn't that amazing? Like, wait, but I thought the whole idea of the conservative position is we just don't want the government paying for X, Y, or Z. In fact, they always yelp about how just don't let tax dollars fund these things. If you want to help them, that's fine. In fact, we're for helping them, but just do it, with private dollars. Individuals should help out. Well, this is individuals helping out, and they're still protesting, and they're still saying no, turn them around. Well, what do you want them to do? They're 40 kids. A lot of them are really young. What, do you just want to kick them out and say, go ahead, walk back through the desert? I mean, they'll make it less than a mile before they die. So what do you want to do? But that's the thing. They don't even have, like, a comprehensive plan. They don't even have this way of looking at the situation that has any solution. It's just, no, we don't want them here, no. We don't even want them to sleep under a roof, even if it's funded by private donors. Did you know, we talked about this the other day, Glenn Beck, of all people, did one of the first few good things he's ever done in his life. He decided, I'm actually going to go down to the border, and I'm going to give all the kids food and water and soccer balls and just do private charity, right? And he even came out and gave this silly little speech. But again, he's doing the right thing, so I don't mind. He went out and said, well, look, I don't care if the people in my audience disagree with me. I know I'm doing right by God. Now, obviously, I don't believe in God, and I think that's made up. But either way, you're doing the right thing, and that's positive. But his audience turned on him. And they said, no, don't help them. Don't do that. You're turning on us if you help them. But, dude, again, I thought you guys only said you don't want the government to help. Well, when private citizens are stepping up to help, you're still against it. So you're just simply in favor of cruelty. There's no two ways about it. It's right in front of us. But the plot thickens even more because I want to read you an excerpt from a brilliant Vox article on this situation with kids crossing the border in higher numbers now. And this will help us understand the situation much better. They say, quote, the children are coming from Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. Most of these unaccompanied children aren't economic migrants, as many Americans might assume. They're fleeing from threats and violence in their home countries where things have gotten so bad that many families believe that they have no choice but to send their children on the long, dangerous journey north. State weakness and corruption have allowed a number of different armed groups, including transnational street gangs, drug cartels, and other organized crime syndicates, to flourish, checked by little but their competition with one another. The murder rate in Honduras in 2012 was a whopping 30% higher than UN estimates of the civilian casualty rate at the height of the Iraq War. All three Central American countries were, statistically speaking, twice as dangerous for civilians as Iraq was. These aren't just undocumented immigrants. They're refugees. And the thing that's so ironic and heartbreaking about the entire situation is the war on drugs in the United States of America has, across the board, strengthened the cartels. Now, understand, that's a fact. That's not opinion. That's not speculation. Just like when there was prohibition in the U.S., what happened? The mafia became overwhelmingly powerful because legitimate businesses stopped selling alcohol because they weren't allowed to anymore. The government stopped them from selling it. So the black market exploded. And all of that money went into the pockets of the mafia. Well, by the same token, since you don't have, legal businesses that can sell cocaine and marijuana, and we don't have legalized drugs, or at the very least decriminalized drugs on a federal level in America, guess who makes all the profits from all the drugs sold here, which is a lot of drugs? It all goes to the drug cartels. And the drug cartels control not only Mexico, but a lot of the areas where they're coming from too, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, etc., etc. So we ruin their countries with our bad policies, and then when they come here as refugees to escape, we tell their children to turn around and walk back through the fucking desert. To say that policy is absurd, idiotic, and barbaric doesn't even begin to breach the beginning of the conversation. Okay? Across the board, we need to change direction on this.